guys, this is Dr. Chloe Costigan from Mobility Doc. This week is week 4 of boat pose. In this final week, we are going to be doing bound wide leg boat. So this is the most challenging of all of them for a variety of reasons, because it really challenges your flexibility, stability, and strength that you need in your hamstrings, in your core, and then even inner thigh flexibility. In this series, we've progressively worked on improving the stability, flexibility, and strength that you need to do all the variations of boat pose. It's worthwhile to revisit those, so make sure that you check out weeks 1 through 3. So this week we're going to be doing a whole new triplet. You are going to be doing a dynamic happy baby stretch. You're going to do that 30 seconds on each side. Then you're going to do hip circles. I want you to do 10 in each direction, so clockwise and counterclockwise. And then finally, you're going to do Russian twists. I want you to do 10 on each side. Repeat that for a total of 3 times. For the strength endurance, we are going to do 2 different things. We're going to do dynamic wide leg boat kicks, and then we are also going to do a wide leg boat hold. This dynamic happy baby stretch is a great way to improve the flexibility throughout the inner thighs as well as the hamstrings. So let's get started. You're gonna lie on your back, and typically happy baby looks like this, okay? But it's really important that the setup is as good as we can make it. So I'm gonna try to keep a slight arch in my back. So even then, as I pull my legs in toward me and I grab the outside of my feet, I'm trying to create a little bit of an arch in my back, okay? So I'm trying to make sure that my pelvis is rotating forward a little bit. I'm gonna get a little bit more of a stretch. Now I'm going to try to pull my knees down toward my armpit as much as I can, and you can kind of play around with the position your feet are in. Here, this is going to be a little bit different than if your feet are pointing straight up. Ideally, you want your feet pointing straight up. Now, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to straighten this knee as much as I can without changing the position of my lower back, and then I'm going to bend. Then I'm going to straighten the other knee and then bend. Now, as I go to straighten this knee, my lower back really wants to round. Like, I really want to do this, but as much as I can, I'm trying to keep that arch in my back, so that way I'm gonna get a little bit more out of it. And you're just gonna alternate back and forth. These wide leg hip circles are a great exercise for improving core stability by making sure that your spine is staying in a good position as you move the lower leg. So we'll get started. You're going to start by lying down on your back. You want to have like a slight arch in your back. This slight arch in the back ensures that you are keeping your spine in a good position and one that's functional. If your back is totally flat, and like my lower back is flat against the ground, this isn't as functional when I go to like use my core in some type of activity, okay? So my legs are going to be up. As soon as my legs come up, the thing that's going to determine how my back can be positioned is in part my hamstrings. When I'm here, if I have tighter hamstrings, I'm going to need to kind of pull my legs out a little bit or even slightly bend them, just so that I can keep a slight arch in my back, okay? So I'm going to have my legs straight, and now we're going to do these wide leg circles. So I'm going to bring my legs away from me, then I'm going to pull them apart, and then I'm going to circle. So just like this. So now this way I'm going down and then coming up. Or the other option you have is you can come up and then come down. One way might feel a little bit easier than the other. In the case of this exercise, I don't actually need the legs to go all the way down. I actually want them to kind of stay pointing up. So then that way you can really focus on, okay, I'm trying to not move this part of my spine, because as soon as I come to like pull my legs back, my lower back wants to arch. But as much as I can, I'm trying to keep those, my lumbar spine, my lower back with like a slight arch in the back, because that'll really help reinforce that position of your spine. Pull those lower abdominal muscles in to make sure that the only thing you're moving is the thigh bone. Russian twists are a great exercise for improving rotational core stability. So what I mean by that is teaching your spine to be able to turn while keeping everything else stable. So I'm going to show you a few variations. For the Russian twist, ideally you'd be using some type of weight, but if you're just getting the hang of it, then do this without weight. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit as upright as I can, lift my feet up, but you do have the option to keep them down. So I'm lifting my feet up, and then I'm trying to keep my elbows pinned in by my side as I turn my trunk side to side. So I'm just moving my trunk, I'm not moving my hands. Just my trunk is rotating as I keep my legs squeezed together as best I can. After the triplet, you're going to do 2 different exercises to help you to get into that bound wide leg boat pose. So first we're going to do the boat kicks, but we're going to do it in a wide leg position. Then what you're going to do is you're going to practice just holding in that wide leg boat pose position. So to get started, for the wide leg boat pose kicks, what I'm doing is I'm trying to find this position as much as I can. So I'm trying to stay as upright as I can. And then I'm going to straighten one leg and then bend. Straighten another leg and bend. So then every time that I come back to center, I'm really trying to focus on making sure that I'm keeping my chest as upright as I can. After you do 5 of those on each side, then you're going to try to straighten both legs. So your brain will already be primed for what it should be doing. That way it's going to be a little bit easier to get into that bound boat position. You're going to be here. You're going to try to keep your chest as upright as you can, and then you're going to go to slowly lower those legs, keeping yourself in as good of a position as you can, and you're going to pull those lower abdominal muscles in. And I'm even thinking about like pulling my hands back toward me, so then that way I can activate my lats, and then I can pull those lower abdominal muscles in a little bit more. You're going to hold for 5 breaths, and then you're going to come down. So you're going to do 5 of the wide leg boat kicks on each side. Then you're going to try to hold that bound boat position in that wide leg position for 5 breaths, and you're going to repeat that 3 to 4 times. If you like this series, make sure to like and share it with a friend. We want to be able to get the word out about ways you can progressively improve your yoga practice.